In this episode of Only at West Ham, we talk about what is quite possibly the worst kit launch in football history. Simone Zaza's time at West Ham. Andy Carroll starting trouble with a man who owns a pizza restaurant. A chant from the West Ham fans that went wrong. West Ham signing a player who couldn't get a game in the Cypriot League. We also talk about the ever so prestigious Betway Cup and Manuel Lanzini's ACL injury, featuring a special guest. But quickly, before we begin, you might have seen some of your favorite YouTubers make their own clips channel. Well, I've made my own. For two reasons. One, so I can post clips from some of my older videos. But the main reason is, I just like the idea of calling a channel West Ham Clips. I'll leave the link in the description, and you are obliged to subscribe to it. Now, onto the video.
If we can drop that beat, good sir, let's get this shizzle going for Rizzle. Yeah!
Now, don't get me wrong, I actually quite like Chris Turner. For anyone who doesn't know who he is, he's a comedian slash freestyle rapper.
Like a striker going down in the box. I want my pen.
He's actually done quite well for himself, but please, can somebody please tell me, who, in their right mind, thought it would be a good idea to have a posh Poundland Peter Crouch rap about his suit at a football kit launch?
I don't even have a chin.
Now, to add a bit more context to this was in 2016, our first season at the London Stadium after leaving Upton Park, and West Ham really hyped up this kit launch, almost as if we were going to unveil a brand new summer signing. We were linked to the likes of Mario Mandzukic, Javier Hernandez,
West Ham were massive.
Carlos Bacca, and Alexander Lacazette. And, after a whole summer of trying to sign a big name striker, many people tuned into this kit launch, expecting us to announce a signing. After all, that's how the club made it seem. So, what did we get to witness?
Yo! Okay, suggestion first from you, sir. I'm gonna fly right in, get what you deserve. You say bad suit, I say your suggestion failed. I know the suit that I'm wearing is tailored. Might cost a lot of money thinking it's fun, but I got it paid for graduation by my mum.
It was a little bit different to what we normally do with a kit.
Yeah, Mark, you don't say. To be honest, I feel sorry for Chris Turner. He got a lot of abuse for that, when really, it was just a really terribly organized event.
I actually filled in on the kit launch the day before because Mark Wright pulled out.
Alright, so that
they
wasn't
called me
even
and said we
arranged.
need a help.
Yeah,
Mark
I mean,
Wright
I
can't do
seen
it.
the rap. I didn't like
That's
the
what I
rapping.
did. West Ham, they didn't help themselves on that day. I didn't know a lot of stuff going into it, to be honest. They kind of made it sound like we were going to announce a signing.
Yeah, there was a lot of buzz, wasn't it, at the
Because we
time?
didn't.
I remember that.
Everyone saw this rapper and they were like, what's going on?
We also had a football freestyler on stage for a bit, because why not? And, he actually ended up falling asleep on stage whilst performing. We may as well just got Jeremy, Swaz, Tekers, Lynch. Okay, probably not. There was also a West Ham quiz, where the winner out of these two
He was your son!
won the brand new kit.
And there's going to be a category that's going to come up on the screen, and you're going to have to give me a name of a person that's in that category.
Can't think of any.
Overall, it was just a complete disaster, and, as I'm sure you gathered, no, we didn't announce a big name centre forward after his impressive contribution at the Euros. We eventually ended up with Simone fucking Zaza on loan.
Don't worry. It's not going to be anywhere near as atrociously embarrassingly bad as you are expecting a 26-year-old middle-class white boy to be. You seem so unconvinced.
Hi.
Okay.
Speaking of Simone Zaza, let's talk about his West Ham career. And that's it, on to the next segment. Okay, but seriously, his West Ham career was nothing to write home about. As previously mentioned, West Ham spent all summer in 2016 trying to find a striker, without success. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? Eventually, West Ham had to go for their 7th or 8th choice, in Simone Zaza on loan. One of his first touches for West Ham was this 50-yard overhead kick-through ball, and that's about as good as it got for him in a West Ham shirt. He went on to play 11 games for West Ham, contributing to 0 goals, and his most notable moment was this shot at Old Trafford that went out for a throw-in.
Absolutely world class!
To be fair, he wasn't even really one of the worst signings we've ever made. Although that says more about West Ham's transfer history, to be honest. But, you might be wondering, why has Zaza got his own segment? Well, in 2015, West Ham announced Betway as their kit sponsor, and we invented our own pre-season trophy. The Betway Cup. Now, you surely must be wondering, what are the complexities of this prestigious competition? Well, it's literally just one match, and if you win, you get the trophy. So, pre-season 2015, the first ever Betway Cup got underway, and, of course, in true West Ham fashion, we couldn't even win our own trophy. We lost 2-1 to Werder
When they
Bremen.
ask you how you are, you don't just have to say that you're fine when you're not really
really fun.
As demoralizing, heartbreaking, and truly gut-wrenching as that was, we got to go again in 2016. In the first game, well, the second game, at the London Stadium, West Ham United host Italian champions, Juventus, in the second ever match of the ever so prestigious Betway Cup. And we went 2-0 down inside 21 minutes.
West Ham ripped apart by the old lady of Juventus, 2-0.
But fear not. West Ham made a miraculous comeback. The Geordie Jesus, Andy Carroll, grabbed a brace.
Defense could not cope with him.
As the game went on, more nerves grew in the stadium. There was just 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes, until penalties. However, that was never the case, because Simone fucking Zaza came off the bench to score the winner with 5 minutes to go. He then signed for us a few weeks later, and yes, that's the only goal he scored that season. It came against us, to lose us the Betway Cup. This is why I hate football. Andy Carroll was quite frustrating at times, and, although it's true, if I had £1 for every time I heard someone say, Andy Carroll is unplayable on his day, then I'd probably be able to afford his transfer fee. But anyway, I doubt any West Ham fan has been as frustrated at Andy Carroll, as much as our good friend Calvin Kitchen over here has. Calvin owns a pizza restaurant in Newcastle, and he was unhappy that Andy Carroll parked his Mercedes outside his venue, taking up 2 parking spots. So angry in fact, that he left this lovely message on his windscreen.
Listen you rich you have a nice car, I'll give you that. Otherwise I pay £42,000 a year for my lease. If you were to come into my restaurant and ask if you could use my parking to park nicely, me or my staff would probably say yes. Otherwise, you are a you don't understand the meaning of money and or courtesy. You are on a different planet to the working class. You do what you want, when you want. You.
Andy Carroll posted this on his Instagram, and responded with the caption, "Didn't like your pizza anyway." Andy then went home that day, made himself a lovely bacon sarnie, chopped his finger off, and missed the rest of the season. Speaking of Andy Carroll, let's talk about injuries. Historically, West Ham have struggled with this. The big one for us is probably Dean Ashton. The striker showed a lot of promise during his time at West Ham, before having to retire at just 26 years old due to injury. However, one big injury that people don't talk about enough is Manuel Lanzini. He's back on form at the moment for West Ham, but in 2018, just before the World Cup, he suffered a torn ACL injury, which put him out for 9 months. His first 3 seasons were unbelievable for West Ham. He was seriously good, so much so that Liverpool reportedly lined him up as Felipe Coutinho's replacement, and that Lionel Messi was encouraging Barcelona to sign him. And, something that a fair few West Ham fans may not know, is that he was actually an integral part of Argentina's setup going into the 2018 World Cup. Now, I've actually got a special guest to talk about this. Roy Nemer, from MundoAlbiceleste.com, has kindly sent in a video about how Manuel Lanzini's injury affected Argentina at the 2018 World Cup, and what he thinks his chances are for making the squad for the World Cup this year. Roy does a lot of work around the Argentina national team on his website, and also on his YouTube channel, so definitely go over and subscribe to him.
When talking about Manuel Lanzini, a couple of words come to mind. Talented, gifted, unlucky. The first two are there and they remain there. And hopefully that last one slowly goes away. In 2018, Manuel Lanzini was initially selected as part of the Argentina national team for the 2018 World Cup squad. He was part of the team, he was selected, he made the cut, the final 23. The reason being is before that, he played great. He was selected for Argentina, he played a match at the Etihad in Manchester against Italy, a match in which he scored. He played 90 minutes. He started alongside Gio Lo Celso and Di Maria, and he played great. And he impressed, well, the then coach Jorge Sampaoli, and he was ultimately selected for the World Cup. And then he got injured, and that affected Argentina a lot because that Argentina team going into the tournament, there was some turmoil. There were some problems going around. It wasn't the perfect or ideal situation. And then when Lanzini's injury happened, it affected everything. And the reason being is because once he got selected, then Gio Lo Celso, who at that time for Sampaoli was playing often and he was playing very well. Well, Lanzini gets injured, and suddenly Gio Lo Celso is no longer starting for Argentina. He doesn't play a single second at the World Cup, and it just changed essentially the entire midfield for Argentina. And for those that are unaware of what happened at that World Cup for Argentina, or even for those that are aware, you'll know that pretty much every single match at that World Cup was a different starting 11. And a lot of that had to do with the coaching staff and the problems going on. But it looked as if Lanzini was the glue that kept everything together in midfield, and obviously a focal point of the team, of that midfield. And then when he got injured, well, that changed a lot. Now, 3-4 years later, Lanzini's back, and he's been unlucky because of injuries. And while that injury kept him out of the World Cup in 2018, and he ultimately had to be replaced, now it's the other way around. Now Lanzini's out of the Argentina team, and he's fighting to get in. And we're less than a year away from the World Cup. Lanzini's playing well. He's back from injury. Fitness doesn't appear to be too much of a problem this time around. He's playing great, arguably in the form of his life. But he has some competition if he wants to crack that Argentina national team. That midfield three, for the time being, looks to be set. Rodrigo De Paul, Gio Lo Celso, and Leandro Paredes. That's the midfield three for Argentina. But then you have some backup as well. Emiliano Buendia of Aston Villa found himself in the Argentina team. He made his debut in February versus Colombia. And then you get others as well. You got Guido Rodriguez, who's kind of on the outside looking in. You got Paulo Dybala, you got Alejandro Papu Gomez, and these are versatile players. And Lanzini is a pretty versatile player, but he's on the outside looking in. And he's got to continue this form. There are a handful of matches remaining before the World Cup. There are 2 World Cup qualifying matches for Argentina, one versus Venezuela and the other one versus Ecuador. And then there's a match versus Italy in June, and rumors of 2 more matches. One could be versus Brazil in the summer, and then followed by a match versus an Arab country. Saudi Arabia is being rumored. So Lanzini doesn't have too much time in terms of impressing and actually making the Argentina team. So the best thing for Lanzini right now is he has to keep doing what he's doing. And there is competition. There is competition in that midfield role for Argentina. That's not to say he cannot get included in the World Cup squad, but for the time being, he's on the outside looking in.
Massive thank you to Roy for sending that in. Make sure to check him out in the description. So, do you think we will be seeing Manuel Lanzini in the World Cup? Will the greatest player of all time be linking up with Lionel Messi in Qatar? Let me know in the comments. West Ham had an unbelievable season last year. Many thought we were going to be fighting relegation, or be mid-table at best, but we ended up qualifying for the Europa League, finishing just 2 points off of the Champions League. One of the perks of being in the Europa is the supporters get to go to away games in countries and stadiums that they would otherwise never visit. One of the places that West Ham fans were looking forward to going to was Vienna, and West Ham fans started singing this about Pablo Fornals. Now, there's just one small problem here. After months of singing this, West Ham fans actually got banned from attending their Europa League match against Rapid Vienna. Absolutely incredible. This was because a number of West Ham fans attended our away match against Genk without tickets. Although, just days before West Ham were due to play Rapid Vienna, Austria went into a national lockdown, meaning the ban ended up being completely pointless anyway. But still, only West Ham would sing for months about visiting a country, and subsequently be banned from said country.
This is the real life, this is reality.
In football, strange transfers happen all the time. Whether it be Julian Faubert on loan to Real Madrid, Joey Barton somehow ending up in Marseille.
It's a little bit boring.
Or Edgar Davids rocking up at Barnet. Every transfer window, there's always some really strange transfers. However, there's not one quite as strange as Doniel Henry ending up at West Ham. Remember him? The Canadian centre-back ending up at West Ham was strange for a number of reasons. Not only was he playing in the Cypriot League, and I have absolutely no idea why we were doing our scouting in Cyprus. But not only that, he couldn't get a game for his club, Apollon Limassol FC, who have some absolutely fantastic nicknames. Absolutely nothing about this transfer to West Ham made any sense. Anyways, how did he do at West Ham? Well, he only made one first-team appearance for the club. And that one appearance, of course, was in a 2-1 loss away to Astra Gugu, as West Ham crashed out of the Europa League qualifiers in 2015. If anyone is wondering what he's up to nowadays, he's currently applying his trade in the top division of South Korea, playing for Suwon Samsung Blue Wings. A club that he is actually older than himself.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
Thank you for watching this episode of Only at West Ham. If you enjoyed it and want to watch more, there's a playlist on my YouTube channel with all the episodes. Don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, and also check out Roy Nemer's. Everything you need will be in the description. Now, as always, I will leave the outro to my good friend Jesus Christ. And I would strongly advise you do exactly as he says. Come on you Irons.
Subscribe to the West Ham Clips YouTube channel.
This can now be placed in your bag.
Unexpected item in bagging area. Remove this item before continuing.